Doom 2016 is a game that did the impossible. From the ashes of its 90s era and the corpse of the Doom game that wasn't a reboot of the first Doom but actually was a reboot of the first Doom that was titled Doom 3, Doom 2016 was the boom of 2016, giving life to a franchise that had been left for dead since 2004. Where Doom 3 was a leap in innovation, a pillar of early 2000s graphics, and a reimagining of the franchise with a pivot to the action horror genre, it had just one problem. It wasn't Doom. Not really. It was considered a sinful reimagining by many, unloved, unwanted, and now, years later, unspoken. Doom 3 wasn't Doom, and it marked the end of the franchise for 12 long years. But in 2016, Doom was back, and it brought the franchise back to its roots a dozen years later. Was it a reboot, a remake, a reimagining, a sequel, a remakequel, a re-sequel? Nobody knew, and nobody cared, because it was Doom, the real Doom, and it was fucking awesome. Doom is a franchise I haven't spent much time with. I never had the lens of nostalgia to pull me into this game. I just had this image, word of mouth, and Doom. Doom revels in its simplicity, the singular premise of shooting demons executed with such ferocity and transparency. This game only has one goal, and that's to be fun. But Doom 2016 is more than just a fun first-person shooter. It's a blend of high-octane, gore-infused action, a testosterone-fueled fever dream with an atmosphere that's so rich in blood and guts and hellfire and heavy metal music that just doesn't give two fucks about anything other than fucking shit up. Playing this game will put hair on your balls and deepen your voice an octave. Doom is just the kind of game where you chop a demon in half with a chainsaw or rip another's heart out and make him swallow it. It's the kind of game that pulls you into an exhilarating loop of exaggerated, bloody violence that satisfies the insatiable power fantasy of being a superpowered, demon-slaying fucking unit that you didn't know you wanted. Doom 2016 is an amazing video game, and today I'm gonna tell you why. So put your seatbelts on, kids, because it's time to take a page out of Doomslayer's book and fuck shit up. Let's begin by asking a simple question. Why is Doom so fun? Its campaign is one of the best first-person shooter experiences I've ever played, and as someone who isn't normally drawn towards FPS games, how did Doom manage to sink its hooks so deep in me it'd lead me to make an extensively detailed YouTube video talking about how fucking good it is? Well, let's start peeling back the many layers that make up this masterpiece. From its music to its combat to its level design, everything that Doom does so well is built around that simple idea of just fucking shit up in the best way possible, with death metal music and bloody satisfaction. Suck it, bitch. Speaking of fucking shit up, Doom 2016 doesn't waste any time doing so. No exposition, no prolonged intro cinematic. You wake up and immediately bash an imp's head in and start shooting demons. Mere seconds after hitting start, you're already engaged in combat because it's just that good and the game knows it. Doom's combat takes all the restrictions that are meant to balance FPS games and says, fuck that shit, it's cringe. You want to reload your gun? Fuck you, reloading is for pussies. Do you want sprinting to come at the cost of draw speed? Fuck you, Doomslayer only knows one speed, and that's faster. Oh, what's that? You want to aim down sights? What are you, fucking cringe? That's pussy shit. Put a grenade launcher on that button instead. Doom takes modern FPS standards and gives it the big fat fuck you and removes any restrictions meant to slow gameplay down. No more reloading, no more ADS. You have one fast movement speed. This isn't a game about some guy killing demons. This is a game about the guy killing demons. Combat isn't balanced around twitchy reaction times and managing penalties. It's about movement and positioning, dodging enemy attacks, choosing which targets to prioritize, and using the environment and its resources efficiently and effectively. Doom never wants you to stop moving, or stop shooting. It just wants you to fuck shit up. And this isn't at the cost of balance. Instead of managing reloads between waves of enemies, you're managing ammo, health, the environment, and its enemies, and you don't stop until everything is dead. The goal is to keep up and use every tool you have to do so. You start with the pistol. It's a pea shooter compared to the rest of the arsenal, but it's what you're stuck with when you've used up all your ammo. But you quickly find the combat shotgun, and business starts booming and you start dooming. While the combat shotgun is likely the worst of the bunch, it's what you start out with, and it gets the job done well enough in close quarters scenarios. But the super shotgun is a direct upgrade in every way. Being the only gun without any mods and the only gun you have to reload, it's the weapon for dealing point blank damage. As for mid to long range, well, take your pick. The heavy assault rifle is your trusted everyday automatic, the plasma rifle spits out flurries of projectiles quickly, the rocket launcher is, well, a rocket launcher, and the Gauss cannon is a high damage, low fire rate precision arm cannon. And yeah, you get a fucking minigun. Amongst the lightning fast pace of combat, you have an array of diverse weapons to instantaneously swap between, all with incredibly satisfying sound design and all incredibly fun to use. But guns in Doom don't stop there, because mods are where shit gets even crazier. Replacing what would have been the ADS trigger with even more tools of destruction, you can put a grenade launcher on your shotgun, or charge up a 3-round burst, fire micro missiles from your heavy assault rifle, or put a long range scope on it. Give your plasma gun an AoE heat blast or stun shot projectiles. Your rocket launcher can become a homing launcher, you can make your Gauss cannon a super death ray and collateral as many enemies as you can line up in one shot, and you can turn it to fucking Bastion from Overwatch. Each weapon has 2 different mods with 2 different uses that you can swap between on the fly, giving you access to an infinite combination of tools to use against the varied concoction of enemies and scenarios that Doom constantly throws at you. But you might be wondering, what happens when you run out of ammo? Well, boys and girls, meet Doomslayer's best friend and hell's worst nightmare, the chainsaw. The solution to all your ammo economy needs, the chainsaw is not only the most fun I've ever had in a video game, but killing enemies with it drops a boatload of ammo for all your guns. But it's got limited fuel reserves. So if you used up all your fuel and run out of ammo, well, you're stuck with the pea shooter. The chainsaw also instantly kills any demon you use it on, but it uses progressively more fuel depending on how tough the enemy is, so there lies a choice. Do you use it on an imp to save fuel and get ammo back? Or do you use it on a Mancubus or a Baron and eliminate a substantial threat but use much more fuel in the process? Considering the various factors of the environment and your current ammo supply, here is just one of the many layers of depth that Doom's combat offers amidst the fast-paced gauntlet of blood and guts. But as much fun as the chainsaw is, you can't talk about Doom without talking about glory kills. The pinnacle of Doom as a concept. Ripping a Baron's horn off and impaling him through the skull with it, jumping on an imp from above and crushing its head with your foot. It's very much at the core of what makes Doom's combat so exhilarating. If you pump enough bullets into a demon, it gets staggered, and you can pursue the Lord's work and diabolically obliterate the poor bastard in gruesome fashion. The fluidity and breadth of the animations are equally impressive. Each enemy type not only has its own set of kill methods, but it also adapts to where you are standing. If you do a kill from behind, it's different from when you're in front. If you do it near a wall, it's awesome. If you're above, say goodbye to its skull. And even then, there are no limits to how many different ways you can tear apart a demon, and this game knows it. Fact is, you're never tired of glory kills. They're enticing, engaging, and both intrinsically and extrinsically motivating to perform, because they're not just a flashy gimmick. Glory kills guarantee health pack drops, completing the circle of health and ammo management. If you need health, get a glory kill. If you need ammo, whip out your chainsaw. And if you're in trouble and you need to clear a room, well, meet the BFG 9000.
Nice.
Doom's combat encapsulates the gore-infused fever dream of being hell's worst nightmare. You simply fuck shit up all the time. And the staggering weapons arsenal and engaging resource loop aren't the only ingredients to this cake. Doom's environment and enemy design are also crucial to why it plays so well. The environments in Doom leverage its enemies and arsenal to create scenarios that require you to adapt and adjust to situations. In a tight hallway, pull out the super shotgun. In an open room, you have to navigate around it and position yourself accordingly. Doom's enemies are either constantly hurling projectiles at you or gunning straight for you. If you stand still, you're most likely dead, so it's up to you to navigate the space around and quickly give yourself the advantage. In the 5th level, you get a double jump, and suddenly verticality becomes a much more prominent factor. High ground becomes more easy to obtain, and you can jump greater distances to space yourself from enemies. Environments scale in verticality and complexity, and the resources littered throughout arenas further contribute to the concise, chaotic decision making that you have to execute. But Doom also takes you back to a bygone era with classic video game power-ups. Haste power-ups make you faster, invincibility negates all damage, quad damage is, well, quad damage, and Berserker Orbs give you Kratos' Spartan Rage for a brief period and lets you take anything in your way straight to Pound Town. An engaging change of speed and power, and deciding when and how to use these becomes a core part of any combat encounter where you can find them.
Quad damage, baby. Oh, you're all fucked. What's that? Oh, can't hear you. Quad damage.
But what complements Doom's gravity towards continuous movement and its expansive weapons arsenal are the enemy types. Enemies in Doom are clearly defined, each with distinct roles and clear strengths and weaknesses. You can look at a class of demon and come to know exactly what they do, and deciding how to best deal with them becomes clear as you learn and adapt. Imps are harmless cannon fodder, but if not kept in check, their numbers can creep up on you. Same with Hellraisers, who take position from a distance and snipe you from afar. It's up to you to pick your targets and decide which weapon or tools to use against them. Hell Knights are intimidating tanks that quickly become prominent threats as they rush you down with their bruiser-style attacks. You have to DPS them down quickly, and the plasma rifle is perfect for that. Summoners, on the other hand, rapidly teleport around the map, and you have to quickly get a line of sight and deal high bursts of damage before they teleport away again. A perfect problem for the Gauss Cannon to solve. Pinkies are the Rhino-esque charger demons who are nearly indestructible from the front, but can be taken down with carefully timed movement and a shotgun to the back. Caco demons are airborne and tanky, so close range isn't always an option, but you won't have a hard time landing rockets or Gauss Cannon shots on them. And the same goes for the toughest of the bunch, Barons of Hell and Mancubus demons, incredibly tanky and dangerous up close while also launching deadly projectiles at you from range.
That is one big boy.
Between the numerous threats you're constantly faced with, deciding which targets to prioritize based on the tools you have available and the environment you're in is crucial. A tight hallway full of pinkies will present a much larger threat than anything else because you don't have much horizontal space to dodge their charge attacks, while a Mancubus demon might pose a smaller threat in a large arena with lots of cover, compared to quicker enemies like Hell Knights who are much tougher to evade. Different types of enemies in Doom are introduced meticulously. It's a gradual ramp up in variety that doesn't overwhelm you but instead presents a new problem to solve each time. Different challenges present different solutions, and a core part of what Doom's combat does so well is giving you all the tools and cues you need to learn and adapt to enemy weaknesses. For all of Doom 2016's achievements, perhaps one of its most cherished in my eyes is how, in a sense, it brought back a bygone era of video games. The era of simplicity. How many games today in the AAA space are simply a series of fun video game levels? No huge open worlds, no interactive movie-style story delivery, no live service bullshit. Just a streamlined series of 10 to 15 gameplay-driven levels of pure, unaccompanied fun. And I'm not knocking those other types of games, because they all have cemented their place in today's gaming landscape, and for good reason. But the simple, one level after the next style game is a rare occurrence today. Its multiplayer aside, Doom feels like an early 2000s game made in 2016. Whether it's the old school power-ups, or how it replicates the classic game's fundamental design philosophy, this game just feels old school in the best way possible, and its level design is a key part of that. Doom's combat is the best part of the game. Fuck, it is the game. It's a fluid, engaging dance of blood and glory, and it's a perfect, fast-paced loop of destruction. But that's not to say there aren't crucial moments of calm in between the chaos, because there needs to be. As exhilarating as the combat is, those slower moments in between are what make them that much sweeter. And those moments in between are dedicated to exploration and progression. What was perhaps the biggest surprise for me about this game was how intricate and complete this game's level design is. Not just in its layouts, but with how much there is to discover. Your Doomslayer's progression ties together light RPG elements that are progressed through exploration. Important upgrades to your Praetor suit and weapon mods can be found hidden throughout each level, and most upgrades in fact, demand intuition and attentiveness to find. The first and easiest to find are field drones. For each one you get, you unlock a new mod of your choice. Easy to find compared to other upgrades, yes, but they hold access to key combat tools, and making them too well hidden risks harming the average player's experience. But Praetor tokens are a different story. You use them to upgrade resistances, navigational tools, equipment, the effectiveness of power-ups, and the speed of certain actions, and they're generally well hidden among each level's many secrets. These tokens offer small bonuses, but remain an effective incentive to explore nonetheless. Each level also has a set of challenges to do. Things like performing glory kills on a certain type of enemy, or use a particular weapon, just to name a few. And doing these challenges, as well as using your weapons, earns you weapon tokens that you can use to upgrade each mod. But beyond that, the final and most significant upgrade for each mod is locked behind a mastery challenge, which encourages you to get creative and play to the mod's strengths. A good extrinsic incentive not only to utilize the whole of the arsenal, but to take advantage of the niche benefits each provide. But what's perhaps the most impactful progression path are the Argent cells you can find, granting buffs to your max health, armor, or ammo. Each one you find gives you a choice, and you can max all 3 stats if you find them all, but if not, you're left with the choice to decide what you need more of. Each upgrade is a noticeable increase in survivability or ammo sustain, making this particular choice very impactful. And we're not done here. The final power-related avenue belongs to rune trials, time challenges that you can discover in levels that rewards you with runes. You can equip up to 3, and each give you a range of passive buffs that you can upgrade through usage. And the challenges themselves are a series of difficult objectives that demand mastery and speed over specific weapons and mechanics, presenting a fun challenge that exposes players to different mechanical aspects of the game.
Son of a bitch! Yeah, bitch! Magnet!
Levels in Doom feel full. Progression is simple, yet scarce enough to warrant choice and prioritization to players who don't double back and find all the secrets. Deciding which runes you choose to run, which upgrades you need the most, which weapon mods you use the most. There's satisfaction in discovery. Levels are complex and intricate, and thinking is critically rewarded. And for you OCD completionists out there, there's even more to collect. There's an array of codex entries and collectibles to find, and secret levers that can be found in every level, which unlocks a throwback classic level from the old games, complete with 90s era graphics and everything. You'd be hard pressed not to think the team behind this game isn't comprised of passion and love for the product they made, because this just isn't something you have to do, but it's here nonetheless. References to older games aren't a revolutionary concept in modern gaming, but porting 13 entire levels straight from a game that's almost 30 years old certainly is. And it is fucking awesome. While Doom's combat and level design are key factors integral to its success, its most iconic and defining feature has to be its music, and how it transforms this game's atmosphere and tone. Doom's atmosphere and tone are laced with this ecstatic sense of chaos and energy that injects you with so much testosterone-fueled dopamine you feel like you can 1v1 the sun. Never have I felt so empowered, so badass, and that is almost entirely thanks to this game's music. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that Mick Gordon's soundtrack is one of the best video game scores of all time. And that's high praise, but never has there been a score so integral to the experience as Doom's. A great OST amplifies key moments in a game's gameplay and story, and sets the tone and atmosphere of the experience. But Doom's OST is the experience. Combat is imbued with the energy set by the chaotic, headbanging death metal music, and it's not just senseless music blaring over gameplay. Doom's soundtrack is in sync with the player, it reacts to your actions in-game and enhances the experience. The music picks up and ends on a dime whenever you're in combat, and for every glory kill it seamlessly dies down for a second, only to pick back up on the finishing blow, which adds a brief break from all the noise and makes for a euphoric, fuck yeah feeling when it picks back up. Combat is imbued with this testosterone-fueled primal ecstasy that just makes you feel like a demon-slaying, skull-crushing fucking unit. Doom's music embodies who Doomslayer is and sets the tone and atmosphere of this world perfectly. By the time I beat the game, I had the entire soundtrack downloaded to my phone. If you ever need to feel motivated to do something, anything, here's a universal solution for you. Doom's soundtrack is integral to how it nails its atmosphere and tone, and that atmosphere and tone doesn't stay stagnant either. Listen to the music you hear on Mars compared to what plays when you're in Hell. It creates a slightly different atmosphere that makes you feel the significance of Hell and who Doomslayer is to the demons. The music in Hell keeps that same heavy metal energy, but it's imbued with this harrowing liturgical choir. This feels like the music that would play if God came to Earth and cast his wrath down upon it. And from Hell's point of view, that's exactly what's happening.
Bow down before me, bitch. Nail.
I could go on all day about tracks like Flesh and Metal, Rip and Tear. Fuck, even the main menu music goes harder than any menu music has any right to. I've never changed my sensitivity with so much ferocity before.
Holy fuck, Mick, stop cooking. I'm just changing my sensitivity, please.
Doom's score not only enhances its combat to a revolutionary degree, but also perfectly encapsulates who Doomslayer is as a character. From the game's opening, Doomslayer's character and history are shrouded in mystery. You have questions, and some answers are given through the story. But Doom's story isn't a compilation of cutscenes and cinematics. It's all told throughout gameplay, and in Doom, gameplay never stops. And one thing this game does an excellent job of is how it portrays our main protagonist, with gameplay. Doomslayer never utters a single word in this game. He's as silent protagonists get, but he doesn't have to talk for his character and personality to shine through. From the way he forces doors open with brute strength, to how he punches field drones in the face for no reason.
Fuck you.
The way he just breaks shit because he doesn't give a fuck about Samuel Hayden's company profits.
Temporarily disabling the tower. You need to remove each lens individually. Carefully release the hinges. If stopping our energy production is what you want, then you need only to destroy this last filter, and Argent energy will no longer exist in this solar system. We will be back at square one.
It's subtle, but it works. And not only does this do a lot for immersion by making every animation feel natural and continuous, but it aligns with everything else the game conveys with its tone and music. Doomslayer simply doesn't give a fuck, and this game shows it. But how about the actual story of the game? As far as the plot goes, it's your standard, generic, humans take science too far in the name of greed plot. But it's good because it's Doom. It's scarcely delivered in key moments throughout its levels, rarely taking control of the camera away from you. From the moment you wake up chained to a strange sarcophagus, you're following a trail, piecing together not only what's happening in the base, but who exactly you're playing as. You quickly learn that Olivia Pierce has caused the base you're at on Mars to be overrun by Hell's forces, and she wants to open a permanent portal to Hell. So with the help of company robot guy Samuel Hayden, you fight through the base, and eventually Olivia opens the portal and we accidentally get teleported to Hell. And it's in Hell where you finally start to learn a little bit about who Doomslayer is through these Doomslayer testaments that you can find, where a demon narrates his backstory, and oh my god. If you didn't think he was a badass before, listen to this.
His ravenous hatred, he found no peace, and with boiling blood, he scoured the umbral plains, seeking vengeance against the Dark Lords who had wronged him. He wore the crown of the Night Sentinels, and those that tasted the bite of his sword named him the Doomslayer.
Hearing a demon talk about Doomslayer like he's a nightmarish urban legend that, if ever unleashed, will spell the destruction of Hell is just fucking awesome. I didn't think there was a way to feel more like a badass while playing this game until I listened to these. But back to the main plot. Among the many things we find in Hell, we see a hologram of Hayden initially finding the sarcophagus that we woke up in, and we eventually make it back to Mars where Sammy Boy puts a tether on us without consent, so he can pull us back from Hell, and he sends us on our way to go look for a big red rock. So we kick ass, take names, find the big red rock, fight a few bosses, and go to Hell to look for a big powerful MacGuffin known as the Crucible. We find the MacGuffin, get tethered back to Mars, blow up a base, and then go to some other dimension and use the Crucible to destroy the power source that the greedy company uses. Then Olivia Pierce turns into a big scary demon spider and we kill it in glorious fashion. And once the big spider's dead, Samuel Hayden tethers us back and takes the Crucible from us with nefarious intent, and teleports us away to an unknown location. That's Doom's story, the cliff notes anyway. And it sounds generic and simple, and it is, but it's not trying to be anything more than a convincing excuse to fuck up some demons. And that doesn't mean it's bad by any means. Doom's story doesn't need to have a complex, layered plot with a wide cast of characters. There are only 4 voice characters in the story, including the Doomslayer testaments, and while Doom's basic plot might be something we've seen a dozen times before, that doesn't mean that the world it's set in isn't baked with intriguing lore that left me wanting to learn more. If anything, I wish we just had a little more insight into Doomslayer's backstory and all the different dimensions and gods we hear about. But if we aren't pumping lead into demons, then this isn't Doom 2016. And if this game's ending didn't leave you quaking in your boots for a sequel, then you must have had the music off. Which, if you ask me, that should be a fucking crime. What the fuck is wrong with you? Who would turn this off?
I can't kill you, but I won't have you standing in our way. Until we see each other again.
Doom's campaign is more than enough to make this game worth its money. It delivers a rich and concise experience that defines the sentiment of quality over quantity. But there is more to this package, and while the campaign is very much the core of this experience, that doesn't stop this game from having other ways to play it. If you still can't get enough of Doom's combat, then jump into the arcade mode, a score-based timed run of each level with multipliers for getting headshots and glory kills. You can enjoy the speed and chaos of combat while testing your skills against other players and try to get the highest score you can. You can also run all of the classic levels that you find throughout the campaign, and take a nostalgic trip back to the 90s for those that were around for it. And for those who weren't, can see firsthand how Doom and games as a whole have evolved over the decades. And if you still haven't had enough, well, you can head into Snap Maps, play levels created by players in the community, or create levels of your own. You can find community-built co-op horde shooters, parkour tracks. You can even play a memory game if you really want to. Aw man. Over the years, people have created entire full-on custom campaigns and multiplayer experiences. There's a damn near unlimited supply of player-made content to dive into. And speaking of multiplayer experiences, that brings us to the multiplayer component to this game. This video is coming out in 2024, 8 years after this game's release. And from my understanding, a strong sentiment across fans of this game have said that its multiplayer was weak and felt tacked on. And 8 years and 3 multiplayer-focused DLCs later, and well, it's dead. I couldn't find a single game on any of the modes on PS5, which isn't a surprise. But playing offline against some scrub AI bots was fun for a few rounds. But nobody, it seems, is playing Doom for its multiplayer, and when the rest of the game is this good, you don't have to wonder why. From what I can tell, there seems to be some decent progression avenues with different loadouts, and there are weapons exclusive to multiplayer. But I can't comment on whether Doom 2016 can beat the tacked-on allegations, because, well, it's dead. Doom 2016 is an unwavering, unyielding, and unapologetic masterpiece. It doesn't care what you, your local priest, or that reporter who claims video games make you violent serial killers thinks. It doesn't care what anyone thinks. It knows damn well how much fun it is, and it's not trying to be anything more or less than fucking awesome. And if you don't like it, you can fuck right off. Oh, what's that, father? This game worships the devil?
Shut up, pussy. There's nothing more Catholic than exterminating the forces of hell with a fucking chainsaw, so either pick up a controller or fuck right off.
Doom 2016 is a god-given demon-slaying masterpiece. Its combat is as peak gets, and its atmosphere and music are so invigorating it makes you feel like you could 1v2 Mike Tyson and a grizzly bear at the same time. Doom manages to tell a tried but interesting story while still keeping Doom's core mission statement intact, and its levels are intricate and packed with valuable progression, hidden secrets, and impressive discoveries. This game is the complete package, and beyond its main campaign, there's even more for players to dive into. For a franchise that's been left in the dust and forgotten about since 2004, Doom 2016 did the impossible and brought back a bygone era of gaming, and we're all the better for it. And that is why Doom 2016 fucking rules. Anyways, that's it for me. Like the video if you enjoyed, and subscribe for more. I'm Jay, and I'm done talking. Let's play the next one.